So once you get set up and in your position, whether that is in a seated position or laying down, take a deep breath in and take a deep breath out. Begin to close your eyes to the room. And as you close your eyes to the room, allow yourself to begin to disconnect to all the things in the room. So by saying that, it's just kind of letting them know that they don't get your attention right now. Your attention is being focused and drawn inward for your practice. And so if you notice that maybe the eyes begin to wander during practice, maybe the mind starts to wander, just gently find a spot to gaze and draw that awareness just back inward, focusing on what you're feeling in your body, focusing on what's happening through the posture, and allowing all the other stuff to just melt away. And you can always come back to listening to my voice to help bring you back, or even bringing the focus to your breath. So right now, just notice your inhale and notice your exhale without changing it or controlling it. Good. Now start to take a deep breath in, and when you do, lengthen your spine. So if you're sitting, you'll feel your head lengthening and lifting up towards the ceiling. If you're laying down, you might feel the spine lengthening outward. And then on your exhale, start to soften the face, the shoulders, the hands, and really let go of any tension through the jaw. Hold the spine in this lengthening position. Let the rest of the body relax and keep breathing deep in and out. Good. Now add a little bit of effort through the core, engaging the low belly. Keep the shoulders, the jaw relaxed, the spine lengthened, and that breath deep. Notice how it feels as you have this little effort in place. Good. One more. And then just draw your hands to touch one another into a prayer. Your thumbs coming to the chest. Relax the shoulders. And I'd like for you to set your intention for today's practice. So this could be a word, a phrase, or maybe even a dedication to someone else. Once you have set that intention, just repeat it and hold on to it. Then exhale, release the arms, and open the eyes when you're ready. If you're sitting up, just begin to come down to a laying position. And once you come down, just make sure you have a little bit of room. Sometimes we had props underneath of us if we were laying or just near us. So just give your arms a little space above and to the side. Good. So as you start laying down on the mat, draw your knees in towards the chest. Wrap the arms around those legs, those knees. Give yourself a little squeeze, maybe even lifting the head for a little stretch, but then release the head gently back down. Soften those shoulders. And then just a little rock side to side. I want you to notice how your body feels as it comes on and off of the mat. So you might notice how different those muscles feel from one side to the other. The upper back to the lower back. Maybe even the hips and the shoulders. Good. Now start to slow the movement, coming back to center. When you come back to center, I want you to wrap your arms around this right knee and lengthen the left leg onto the mat. Engage those feet as though you're pressing against a wall. Soften those shoulders. Tuck the chin in just a little bit here so you're lengthening out the neck. Good. Squeeze that knee in, feel a nice little stretch. Good. Now when you feel that nice little stretch, you're going to take your left hand, hold on to this knee, draw your right arm out at T. As you're holding on to the leg, the right leg with the opposite arm, you're going to start to draw that leg over to your left side. It's okay if the knee doesn't come to the mat. You can kind of have it lifted. Just make sure that this right shoulder is not really jarring off of the mat. You should be in a place where you can start to kind of keep it grounded down. Draw your left arm out at T. Good. Breathe deep. Inhale, draw your knee back to center. Good. Now if you want, sometimes it just feels good. Draw the arms back around and maybe squeeze that knee gently in for a little stretch. Good. Now draw the hands behind the thigh and reach that foot up towards the ceiling. And again, I want you to pull the heel up so that you're engaging that foot a little bit deeper. And then start to pull the heel down a little bit towards the mat. So you just start to feel a stretch to the shoulders. Tuck the chin, breathe. Now slowly start to release the leg and let it slowly come down to the mat. Good. Notice how that feels. Soften the shoulders. Draw your left knee in towards the chest. Wrap the arms around. Engage the feet as though you're pressing against a wall. Tuck the chin. Squeeze the knee in. Keep your right hand on the left leg, so opposite arm to opposite leg. Slowly start to kind of pull that leg over to the right. Keep the left shoulder down. So if it starts to lift, maybe this is where you pause. Maybe this is where you pause, or maybe you can go down even deeper. So just come into that place where you feel you're in a good spot. And the arms come back out at T. Breathe deep. Slowly using your core, draw the knee back to center. Wrap the arms around that knee. Squeeze it in. Then the arms around to the thigh. Lift the foot up. Push the heel up so that you're kind of giving yourself an extra little stretch. And then draw the heel down towards the mat a little bit, just so you feel an extra little stretch through the shoulders. Tuck the chin. Breathe deep. Now slowly start to release the leg, so the leg just slowly starts to come down to the mat. Good. Re-engage, realign. Sometimes we start to come off the mat a little bit, and that's okay. Right knee then comes back in. Squeeze that knee in. Opposite hand to opposite leg, so the left hand on the right thigh, right arm out at T. Start to kind of drag that leg over to the left. into a place before the shoulder pops up. So if the shoulder starts to pop up, maybe draw the leg up a little bit. That's okay. Then both arms out at T and breathe deep. Good. Draw the knee back to center. Once it's back to center, re-engage the feet. Arms wrapping around the knee. Squeeze it in for a little stretch. And then arms on the thighs. Lift the foot up. Really push the heel up towards the ceiling. Then start to pull the heel down towards the mat. Feel the stretch to the shoulders. Tuck the chin. Then slowly release as that leg comes down to the mat. Good. Again, if you need to adjust, give yourself that time to adjust. Then left knee in, squeezing, engaging those feet, tucking the chin. Right hand onto left thigh and left arm out at T. Begin to kind of bring that leg over to the right. Before the shoulder pops up, pause. Arms back out at T. Breathe deep. Use your core, come back to center. Engage the feet, arms wrapping around for a little squeeze, then around the thigh. Lifting the foot, pushing that heel up. Breathe deep. Then pull the heel down towards the mat so you feel an extra stretch through the shoulders. And tuck the chin. Breathe. Slowly release to lower that leg gently down to the mat. Good. Adjust yourself if you need to. We're going to do this one more time on both sides. So draw the right knee in, engage the feet, squeeze. Then left arm helps guide that right leg over to the left, coming into a place of stillness. Engage the feet. Make sure the arms can be relaxed. The hands are not gripping. Maybe you want to gaze in the opposite direction. That's okay. Breathe deep. Good. Come back to center. Engage the feet. You can squeeze the knee in. Then when you're ready, arms come onto the thigh. Push the foot up. Lift that heel up towards the ceiling. So you're engaging the feet, tucking the chin. Pull the heel down a little bit so you're feeling a stretch to the shoulders. And breathe deep. Slowly, slowly lower the leg down to the mat. Good. Take a moment. Breathe. Notice how it feels. Now draw the left knee in. Engage those feet. Squeeze. Right hand holds the left thigh. Left arm out at T. Begin to come into this rotation, taking this left leg to the right. And both arms out at T. Make sure the shoulders can be relaxed. The arms and hands are not gripping. Maybe you want to gaze in the opposite direction. A little bit of feet, a little bit of core engagement. And breathe deep. Good. Come back to center. Wrap the arms around that knees. Engage the feet, the core. Tuck the chin. Then arms around the leg. Lift that heel up. Engage the feet. Tuck the chin. Breathe deep, maybe even pull the heel down towards the mat. Good. Slowly lower that leg down to the mat. Good. Draw the arms out at T, bend your knees, and then walk your feet wide. Spread and lift those toes, and then release the toes gently down. Same with the hands. Spread the fingers, and then slowly lower them down. Tuck the chin, soften those shoulders, a little bit of core engagement. Knees now lowering to the right. Look over to the left. And just kind of notice how different this feels. Inhale, knees back up to center. Exhale, knees lowering to the left, gaze to the right. Inhale, back at center. This is where you make sure feet are wide, core is engaged, and just begin to flow through these movements of windshield wipes. You lower the knees to one side, gazing in the opposite. And then gently bringing the body back to center, where you just make sure you're in your alignment. You have your engagement in place. Good. The next time the knees lower to the right. See if you can take your left foot and draw it a little bit more towards your left arm. It's not going to reach, but it just kind of helps to let you know which direction you're kind of going. If it's too much in the body, then please ease up. Now, flip your palms up. And then the arms are going to kind of stay out at T, but you're going to start to kind of, trying to think of the right word, you're going to kind of hinge through the body. So it's almost like a windmill with the arms. You're going to slowly start to rotate to the left. The right arm reaches up to kind of where the head used to lie. It's lengthening. And maybe this left hand can grab a hold of that left foot or ankle. Maybe let the head still look to the right. Soften the shoulder. Breathe deep. Slowly draw the body back so that the arms come back to T. And then draw the feet back, knees back. Good. We're going to do that again on the opposite side. So now lower knees to the left. Maybe take that right foot and start to kind of kick it back a little so it comes up towards the hand or towards your sitting bones. Arms out at T. You're just slowly hinging the body, rotating to the right. That left arm reaches up and back. And then this right hand maybe grabs a hold of the ankle or the foot. You can gaze at that left hand, but just soften the shoulders. Breathe deep. Good. Slowly windmill back. Arms out at T. Knees back at center, head back at center. Realign, feet wide, core engaged, tuck the chin. Lower knees to the right. Maybe pull that left foot back a little bit. Then start to windmill those arms to the left. You might have to kind of lift the shoulders up a little bit depending on your mat. Maybe your left hand can grab a hold of the leg. Breathe. Slowly come back to T and slowly draw the knees back to center. Realign, re-engage. Now knees lower to the left. Maybe kind of bring that right foot back a little bit and then windmill to the right. Again, you might have to kind of lift the shoulders up. The hand, maybe you can grab a hold of the ankle or the foot. Breathe deep. Good. Windmill back. Knees back to center. Walk the feet in closer and give yourself any little movement right now that you might need. So maybe it's drawing the knees in, maybe it's just lengthening the legs, maybe a little rock side to side. And then whenever you're ready, come up to a seated posture, either by rocking up or rolling to one side. Good. As you come into this position, if those knees are talking to you, please use some padding, either from your mat or using a blanket. But begin to come to hands and knees. Tabletop position. Make sure your wrists are under your shoulders and your knees are under your hips. Ground the tops of the feet into the mat. If your wrists are a little sensitive, it's okay to come down the forearms. Just make sure that your elbows are in line with those shoulders. Don't try to hold the head up too much, just kind of keep it down. Good. So now once you're in your position, your foundation, see if you can shift your weight over to the left. As you do, can you draw that right foot behind you? Now, if you want the toes to be down for a little stretch, to curl the toes, that's okay. But then lift the foot gently up. Make sure the toes are pointed down towards the mat. The heel is lifted, pointed up towards the ceiling. Now bend the knee. Lift the foot up towards the ceiling. Draw the core in. Then bend the knee, or keep the knee bent, and draw it in towards the chest as you start to round the spine, tucking the chin towards that knee. Good. Keep the knee bent. Start to lift that foot back up towards the ceiling. Draw the core in. Feel that glute getting activated a little deeper. Then draw the knee in towards the chest, rounding the spine, tucking the chin. If the toe needs to come down to the mat to help, that's okay. Good. Do that one more time. Lift that foot up. Breathe. Keep pulling this knee inward. Good. Then draw the knee back in towards the chest, rounding the spine. Breathe deep. If the toe needs to come down, please do so. Good. Take that knee gently back, keeping it bent. Now open that knee or that hip. So the knee now points to this right side. Good. Now take that foot and start to slowly lift it back up towards the ceiling. So the knee comes back to center. Good. Take that knee, open it to the right. Good. Take that foot, lifting it back up to the ceiling. It draws the knee back to center. Good. One more time. Open. And then let your foot come over to the left floor. Good. If you feel comfortable, reach up with that top arm. Good. Hand down. Rotate back. Your knees are back on the mat. I want your toes to come together and the knees to come wide. Slowly sink your hips towards your heels, head towards the mat. Your left hand is probably like, ooh, I'm tired, so roll out that wrist. Maybe the right's tired, roll out that wrist. Shrug out the shoulders. Come back up to hands and knees. Good. Make sure your knees are in line with your hips. If your wrists are a little tired, like I said, please come to forearms. Now you're going to shift to your right side and see if you can maybe draw this left foot behind you. Again, if you want the toes to be down for a little extra stretch first, that's okay. But then lift the foot up. Toe pointed down, heel lifted, draw the core in. Bend the knee. Lift the foot up towards the ceiling so you feel an extra stretch. Then draw the knee in towards the chest, rounding the spine, tucking that chin. Breathe deep. If the toe needs to come down to the mat, that's okay. Lengthen the leg. Keep the knee bent. Draw the foot back up towards the ceiling. Feel that stretch through the glute. Breathe. Don't let that knee open. Then tuck the chin. Draw that knee back in, rounding the spine. Good. Keep the knee bent. Lift the foot back up. Keep pulling that thigh in. So you're not doing this, but you're doing this. Good. Draw the knee back in, tucking the chin, rounding the spine. Good. Last time. Keep the knee bent. Lift the foot up. Breathe. Draw the core in. Good. Tuck the chin, round the spine. Draw the knee in. Good. Draw the leg behind you, but keep the knee bent. Lift the foot up, but now open that knee to your left side so the foot comes over to your right side. Now the foot comes back up towards the ceiling. Good. Open that hip. The knee opening to the left. Good. Draw it back to center. One more time. Open up. Pause. Breathe. Keep using the core. Then let the foot come to the floor of the right side, maybe lifting up with that left arm. Breathe deep. Slowly draw the hand back, rotating back, both knees on the mat. Knees wide though, toes together. Go back into that wide leg child's pose. Hips towards the heels. Let the head relax, roll out the wrists, the shoulders. Then breathe deep. Lift and lengthen back up to hands and knees. Knees back underneath of hips. Wrists back underneath the shoulders or forearms. Good. Curl your toes. Shift your weight back towards those toes so that you feel a little stretch in the feet. Draw the core in and hover the knees. Then lengthen those legs, lifting the tailbone and your hips up towards the ceiling, chest towards those thighs. Soften the shoulders. Rotate the hands if you're sliding and pedal out those legs. Give them a little movement in your downward dog, your Adho Mukha Svanasana. Good. Draw the knees down to the mat. Go into a wide leg child's pose one more time. Notice how you feel. Breathe, soften and release where you need to. Come back up to hands and knees. Knees under hips, wrists under shoulders. Curl those toes, shift the weight back. Hover the knees, then lift those hips up. Give yourself distance. Push the chest back, shoulders onto the back. Rotate those hands if you need to and pedal out those heels. Good. One more movement and then gently start to draw those feet to meet the hands, coming into a forward fold. Good. As you come into your forward fold, check in with the feet. Make sure they're underneath the hips and they're parallel with each other and the mat. Spread and lift those toes. Feel both inner and outer sides of the feet, the heels and the balls. Finding the center between all four of those areas, then release the toes. A little bend in the knees are okay. Make any adjustments you might need. Shrug out the shoulders, tuck the chin a few times to release tension there. Now, see if you can start to bend your knees. As you do, sink your hips down and back. Start to peel the chest off of your thighs as your arms come up to frame those ears. Draw your core in to help protect the low back. Push through the feet as the arms come up and around and into a prayer. Good. From prayer, reach your arms back up and overhead. Arms coming up, spread the hands, but relax the shoulders. Tuck the tailbone, draw the core in, come into a slight back bend. And then exhale, start to hinge back at your hips so you come back into your forward fold, coming back towards those legs. Check back in with the feet, make sure they're still parallel. Make sure the knees have a little bend in them. Good. Bend your knees, sink the hips down and back. Chest peeling up, arms to gently frame those ears. Your back of your chair, your Utkatasana. Draw the core in, the thighs together. Gently push through the feet as the arms come around and into prayer. Good. From prayer, reach those arms back up and overhead. Soften those shoulders. Draw the core in, tuck the tailbone, slight back bend. Exhale, hinge at your hips, coming back in to your forward fold. Good. Just take a second to notice how you're feeling here. So maybe a little undulation just to kind of release the shoulders, the neck. Maybe a little wiggle through the legs. Good. Now, make sure your feet are still underneath your hips and they're parallel with each other. Bend your knees as much as you need so your hands can come into a place to support your body. Shift to the left so now your right foot can come back behind you. Good. As that foot comes back behind you, start to draw the knee down to the mat. If you need to add extra padding with your mat or with a blanket, please do so. But just kind of draw that leg back a little bit so you get an extra stretch. And you're not right on the kneecap, but you're in a more safe spot on the knee. Check in with this front knee and make sure it's not tracking over the ankle. Draw the thighs coming together. And when you feel balanced, hand onto that top thigh. Then hands to hips. If you notice this back leg, so I'm just going to pause to show you, if you need to curl that toe, that's okay. Or maybe you're like, hey, I need to lengthen it a little bit because as I came up, I just noticed it was in a different spot. So I went too far. I was just trying to show you. All right, draw the core in. Hands on hips. Push into this front leg so that the knee stays bent. Draw the core in and slowly start to come back just a little bit towards this back hip. So you start to push this hip forward, pushing the front knee forward, hands on hips to help support, drawing the core in. Good. Reach the arms up and overhead. Slowly hinge, hands to the mat. Curl the back toe so that you can lift the knee up and off of the mat. Good. Now take that back foot and hop it to meet the front foot. Wiggle out those legs. Sometimes it feels good. Good. Bend your knees. Sinking the hips down and back, chest peeling up, arms to frame those ears. Draw the core in, draw those thighs together. And then push on up. So you come to stand and hands come into prayer. Draw the arms back up, tuck the tailbone, draw the core in, slight back bend. And then exhale, hinge at your hips, come back into a forward fold. Good. Now bend those knees so the hands come down. Make sure the feet are still in that good position, that foundation. Shift to the right, so now the left foot can come behind you. Give yourself good distance and make sure the front knee is not tracking over the ankle. Then draw the knee gently down to the mat. Either keeping the toe curled or uncurled, but just give yourself a little distance in that leg so you're not in a bad spot on the knee. When you're ready, come up onto your top thigh. Draw the core in, hands on hips. Keep pushing this front knee forward. Sometimes what wants to happen is people want to kind of come out of it a little bit. So keep pushing the knee forward. Adjust that back leg if you need to. Draw the core in. Start to come back just a little bit. So you're going to start to feel it in your glutes a little bit. Good. Arms come up to frame when you feel ready. Soften shoulders. Breathe. Good. Hinge. Hands coming down to the mat. Curl the back toe. Lift the knee up. And then hop that foot to meet the front. So feet are parallel with each other once again. Wiggle it out. Good. Bend your knees, sink the hips down and back, chest peeling up, arms to frame, draw the core in. Push to the feet, arms around and into prayer. Good. So notice how your legs are feeling. Notice how you're feeling, how the glutes are feeling. Good. Now take your hands to your hips. I'm going to switch my direction so that I'm pointing towards you so it's a little easier to see me. Good. So just make sure your feet are underneath your hips and they're parallel with each other. Good. Draw the core in. Breathe deep. See if you can start to create a little bit of balance through the body here. Shift your weight to the left and come on to the tippy toe of the right foot. Good. Now, see if you can start to bend the knee by drawing the foot behind you. Good, so it's almost like you're gonna look like a flamingo. If that helps you to understand how this looks. Then slowly draw the toe back down, but keep staying grounded into this left foot. So you're just onto the tippy toe of that right toe. Good, draw the core in, keep lifting and lengthening, bend the knee, draw the foot behind you. Good, gently draw the toe back down. Good, one more time, start to lift that foot off the mat. Then take the foot and just start to bring it back behind you. Keep squeezing your core, squeezing those glutes, and then draw that knee forward, back in alignment, toe back down. Good, so if you need to use a wall, please use a wall. Draw the core in, lift the foot off the mat, start to kick that foot back behind you. So just drawing that foot back as far as you can, drawing the core in, breathe, feel those glutes being activated, and then slowly draw that foot back down to the toe. All right, we're gonna do this one more time. So draw the core in, lift the foot off the mat, start to pull that foot behind you, use your core, feel your glutes being pulled and activated. Good. If you want to go deeper, maybe your hand can grab a hold of that foot. Draw the thigh in though. Pull back a little bit. So it's not full dancer. Keep using your core. I want you to protect your back. Pull your thigh in, breathe, and slowly release the foot to the mat. Good. Those legs are quite tired, so just wiggle them out. Little movement, little release through the ankles, maybe wrists, shoulders, little undulation. Good, so we're gonna do the next side. So find your foundation. Wrists and your ankles are underneath of your hips perfectly. So if your feet are really wide, draw them in just a little bit. If the feet are super close, give yourself a little more distance so you have better balance. Hands back on your hips. Good. Shift to the right foot now so you can come onto the tippy toes of the left. Draw the core in, lift and lengthen. Bend the knee, the foot comes behind you. So you're like flamingo. Good. Slowly draw the toe down. Just want you to feel what it feels like on this side. So start to find your balance. Draw the core in. Start to lift the foot off the mat. This time, see if you can draw the foot back a little bit. Engaging those glutes, drawing the core in. Good. Slowly draw that thigh back in alignment so the toe can come down to the mat. Good. Draw the core in. Bend the knee, the foot comes behind you. Keep reaching that foot back. If it's too much, come into that place where you feel balanced, but engage those glutes. Draw the core in. Good. Slowly draw the toe back down. Good. Do this again. Lift the foot off the mat. Draw the foot behind you. Feel those glutes being engaged. Good. If you want to go deeper, left hand can grab a hold of that left foot or ankle. Draw the thigh in though. Keep pulling the foot back and draw your core in. You're not in full dancer. It's almost like dancer. Breathe. Good. Slowly release, drawing the foot down and wiggle out those legs. Wiggle out the arms, the back. Just kind of give yourself a little undulation that you might need. Good. Sometimes it just feels good to kind of release. Good. All right. Just make sure that your feet are underneath of the hips. They're parallel with each other and the mat. Reach your arms back up and overhead. Tuck the tailbone, draw the core in, slight back bend. And then exhale, hinge at your hips, come into your forward fold. Good. Notice how you feel. Now bend your knees as much as you need. Hands coming down. Walk the feet back one at a time. Coming back into a downward dog. Good. Pedal out those heels. Good. Come into plank, lifting the heels, rounding the spine, wrist over shoulders, shoulders over wrist. Slowly bend the elbows, but draw them in and lower down. You need to draw the knees down first, that's okay. Make sure you're in a place on your mat where you feel comfortable. Hands by your side. Draw the shoulders away from the ears. And start to feel the shoulders coming together onto the back. Now hover your hands, lift your head and chest up, breathe. Keep pulling the elbows back. Slowly release down. Good, let's do this again. Cover the hands, pull the shoulders back, lift the head and chest. Breathe. Slowly release back down. One more time. Cover the hands, lift the head and chest. Breathe 3 deep breaths. And once you're done, just gently release down. Arms coming by your side. Start to reach your arms up and back, lifting the head and chest up. Now here, your thighs may lift, and that's okay. Breathe. Exhale, release. Inhale, reach the arms up and back, lift the head and chest, lift the thighs. Draw those glutes in, breathe. Exhale, release. One more time. When you're ready, lift those arms up and back, peel the chest up, feel those thighs lifting, those glutes engaging, the core engaging. Gently release. All right, start to bend your right knee. Lift the thigh off the mat. Foot reaching up. Gently lower it. Good. Just notice how that feels. Sometimes it's a micro movement, sometimes it's a lot. Now take your right hand, maybe see if you can grab a hold of that wrist, that ankle. Maybe it's the foot. Maybe it's just the big toe. Maybe you got to grab a strap. It's okay if you need to. Now engage those thighs together. Lift the head and chest up. Pull that foot gently up a little bit so you're feeling a stretch. Breathe. And then gently release. Let go. Same with the left. Bend that knee. Lift the foot off the mat. Feel those glutes engaging, the thigh coming off the mat. And then gently release. See if the foot and hand can touch one another. Maybe it's the toe, the foot, the ankle. Maybe you need a strap or use your blanket. Once you grab a hold of that, engage the thighs together. Start to lift the foot off the mat just for a little stretch, then draw back down. Good. Now lift up. Breathe. Exhale, release. Good. Now we're going to go deeper into both legs. So maybe you want to bend one foot at a time, letting the hand find that foot, the ankle, the toe. Engage those thighs together. Start to lift the head and chest up. Maybe even see if you can just actively engage those glutes, trying to lift the thighs, the feet up. Breathe. Draw the core in. Use those glutes. Helps to protect the low back. Good. Gently release. One more. Bend those knees. Maybe it's one at a time. Start to lift the head and chest up. Come into a place of stillness, breathing deep. Draw the core. I want to see you engage those glutes. And then slowly release. Any little movement you need to release and relax, do so. Good. Slowly come back up to hands and knees. From your hands and knees, come to a seated posture. From your seated posture, come on down to a laying position. In that laying position, get comfortable. All right, once you're on your mat, draw the knees in, squeeze, and just kind of notice how your body's feeling. Maybe a little rock side to side. Good. Now, draw your hands down by your side. Lift your feet up towards the ceiling. Engage the core. Tuck the chin. Breathe deep. Take your right foot, start to draw the heel down towards the mat a little bit. Then cross the legs so that the left foot comes to the right side and the right foot comes to the left side. Good, and slowly draw them back to center. Legs still lengthened and lifted. Now the left foot comes down a little bit and cross. So the left foot comes over to the right foot comes over to the left. Come back to center. Good. If you need to release at any time by bending the knees, that's okay. Feet still engaged, tuck the chin. Ground the hands down, the shoulders down. Right heel down, cross to the left as the left crosses to the right. Good. Draw them back to center. Left heel down, cross to the right, right to the left. Good. Then come back to center. Bend those knees if you need to. Good. We're going to do that just one more time. So whenever you're ready, lengthen those legs. Right heel down. Cross it over. Breathe. Good. Come back to center. If you need to release, that's okay. Good. Left heel down, then cross and breathe. Good. Then come back to center. Release this time. Knees in. A little rock side to side. Good. Now draw your arms back out at T. Draw your feet down to the mat. And walk them wide. Ground your feet by spreading and lifting those toes. Draw the core in, tuck the chin, soften those shoulders. Lower your knees to the right, gaze to the left. Notice how your body is feeling. Might have totally different sensations than you felt at the beginning of practice. Come back to center, knees and head. Tuck the chin, draw the core in, knees to the left, gaze to the right. Good, come back to center. And just follow these movements going side to side. So you've been in windshield wipes before. Just make sure that you don't go into an automatic zone, but you're checking in. You're noticing what you feel and what's happening. Next time, knees lower to your right side. Come into a place of stillness. Come back to center. Realign, re-engage, and then lower to the left, coming into a place of stillness. Breathing deep. Good, come back to center. Walk the feet in closer. Walk your heels now toward your hips. Good. Your arms are out at T still. See if you can draw them down by your side. And then shrug the shoulders up and start to tuck them underneath. Engage those thighs together, but not to fully touch. It's like they're about to. Tuck the chin. Start to push your feet into the mat, inner and outer sides of the feet. And then lift your hips off of the mat, lifting them up towards the ceiling, drawing those thighs together, drawing those glutes in, core in. Slowly lower one vertebrae down at a time. So this is bridge. Let's just do this a few more rounds. Start to lift your hips up and off of the mat, drawing those thighs together, using the glutes, the core. Slowly releasing And just continuing to move through this movement. Good. The next time you lift your hips up, come into a place of stillness. Interlace the hands underneath, maybe really drawing the shoulders under a little bit deeper. Pushing those knees forward, tucking the chin, and drawing those glutes in. Breathe deep. One more deep breath. And then slowly release the hands, slowly release one vertebrae down at a time. It's up to you if you want to lengthen the legs or draw the knees in. Just give yourself a little release after bridge. Sometimes it feels good to kind of feel the back coming back to the mat and just kind of rocking it out. But sometimes it feels good to lengthen. Maybe you want a mixture. Good. No matter what you chose, draw the knees in. Draw the arms out at T. Right hand grabs a hold of both legs, so it grabs the left to help draw these legs over to your right side. Arms back out at T. You won't be here too long. Cross that left arm so that the whole body stacks. Breathe deep. Good. Arm comes back out at T. The knees come back to center. Left hand helps to lower the legs over to the left. Arms come out at T. That right arm crosses so that the whole body stacks. Breathe. Arms out at T. Draw the knees back to center. Good, and do this just a few rounds, gently going side to side. You'll lower the legs down to one, then you'll gently cross the arms. Keep breathing deep. When the arms come back out at T, then you can draw the knees back to center. And you'll just do the same thing going side to side. Don't feel rushed. Do one movement at a time. The next time you come onto your right side, pause there. Stay there for 3 to 5 deep breaths. And once the arms come out at T, stay there for a deep breath. Then draw the knees back to center. And you'll do the same thing on the other side, drawing the legs gently to the left. The arms stacking, staying there for 3 to 5 deep breaths. And when your arm comes out at T, stay there for a few deep breaths. And then you'll come back to center. Good. Now at this time, if there's any last movement your body is craving for or needing before going into Shavasana, please give yourself that time. And once you're ready for your Shavasana, I just want you to get yourself set up and ready using any props or anything that you might enjoy so that you can relax and get into your Shavasana a little easier. If you're a little cold, you can always put a blanket on or a little jacket. If you need something for the head or the knees, maybe the hips are a little sensitive right now after really using the glutes, so feel free to put something underneath there. Once you're set up and ready, let the body just come into a place where it can rest. The arms relaxed, the legs relaxed. No effort. And I will call you out of Shavasana when it's time. So just enjoy and digest your practice. Take a deep breath in. Take a deep breath out. Slowly start to add movement to the body. And whenever you're ready, there's no rush, but just roll over onto one side. Take a deep breath and then slowly bring yourself up to a seated posture on your mat. As you come into your seated posture, draw your hands to prayer, thumbs to the heart, a slight bow to those hands. Come back to your intention. That phrase, that word, or that dedication you set at the beginning of practice. Know that it's always within you. It's on the surface, so you can share it. You can come back to it whenever you need. And I want to thank you for giving yourself this time, finding your effort and ease throughout practice, while listening to your body and honoring it. And I am truly grateful that you allowed me to guide you. The light in me sees that same light in you. It connects us, it makes us one. Namaste.